Okay, out of all the people that you've worked with, I want to. Who are like the 3 artists that you're like the closest to, like not just professionally but personally as well?
I'm pretty close to Demi. I'm pretty close to Kehlani. She's a really good friend.
Okay. Okay, we can do those 2.
Okay.
Have they ever come to you and said, like, just spilled just a bunch of, like, just all the things, and then been like, I want to write a song about this, but I also want to have some privacy, and I don't really want to say all this. Can you help me, like, narrate it in a different way?
Now, of those 2, yes and no. Yes and no. With Demi, yes, obviously. We've had conversations about a lot of the private things that happen in her life, and let's figure out how to convey this and put this in music, which is why I love that song Only Forever so much, because it is that. It's like, this is what's happening in my life. How do I convey this without actually giving the details? And, yeah, so actually we do that a lot. I do that a lot with Demi, which I'm very fortunate to have that kind of relationship with her, because she's an amazing person. Kehlani is a different story. She doesn't care.
She'll just say, she's like, this is what I want to say, and this is how we can say it.
She'll say exactly what's on her mind. And there was one time where I had to convince her not to name a name.
Oh, really? So you said, like, hold back.
It was a pretty, yeah. What's the name of the record? It's a song I did for her called Did I, which came out just before all the stuff for Sweet Sexy Savage. It was sort of a one-off single that she put out. And she was having an issue with this individual, and she wrote, I mean, she's going at this girl in this record, and it's some of the best writing. Like, she's like, it's just so cool. It's so aggressive. And then there was a part of the song where she's like saying the girl's name and talking about specific instances. I'm like, you're gonna get sued, or somebody's gonna try to beat you up. Like,
yeah.
You don't need to do that. So she backed off. She's obviously a very smart girl too. So she backed off. She's like, all right, I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, with her, you kind of have to hold her back a little bit.
Because it's like an intimate thing that you're doing with these artists. Like, they're basically trusting you. You're kind of like their vault.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? I look at it like almost like being a therapist. Like, people get to talk sometimes sitting in these very chairs that we're sitting in. A lot of my sessions start this way.
Really?
Yeah. Like, it doesn't start with they come in, I start playing stuff and like music, because I feel like the music is the thing that you put all the emotion into. Yeah, sure, but you got to figure out what the story is first. So a lot of times when artists come to the studio, like when Sabrina came here, the first thing we did was sit down and talk for like 2 hours about what was happening in her life, and that's where some of the records, that's where some of the very titles of the records I did with her came from. So yeah, it's like being a therapist, and they trust you with a lot of details. You know what I mean? The funny thing is that when I have these conversations with artists, I think it's kind of understood, like from the jump. This is a safe place, and whatever is said here does not leave this room in any specific capacity. And I'm glad that people feel like I'm trustworthy enough to be able to have those kind of conversations.
Totally.
I like being that guy. I like being the ear.